Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Narrative Podcast. The Narrative Podcast is the home of original people, the home of original people reciprocity, the home of original people peace, and positivity. And I am your host, Halsey Allen. Welcome all my narrators. Welcome to the Narrative Podcast. The Narrative Podcast promotes positive frames of reference about original people and original people culture. How's everybody doing this fine weekend? Whole lot going on in the news. Whole lot to talk about today. Just want to tap in with you and be interpersonal with my listening audience. How was your week? Well, I hope. And how is the weather in your neck of the woods? Where I'm at, it's like unseasonably warm. It was just like almost freezing below, like not even a week ago, and it's like kind of humid today. It was kind of humid today. But the weather is just going berserk this year. So, yeah. Did you guys hear about that earthquake in New York? Oh my God. Earthquake in New York. Like, what the heck? I don't know what's going on in the NYC, but it ain't right. Like, just before that, they were smelling like fire, smoke, all the way from Canada was going up to New York. Like, I don't know what's going on that East Coast, but gee whiz. They just had a mother freaking earthquake. But, how's everybody doing? So, for those unfamiliar with the Narrative Podcast, I give a quick overview of my content and, everything I'll be discussing on my platform and what my platform is about before diving into the actual content. But my narrators, they're my regular listening audience. They already know the demonstration. But I do a quick, brief overview of my podcast before diving into the content. So new people will be up to speed about the Narrative Podcast and me, Halsey Allen. But before diving into the content, got to take care of some business. Recently, we had two, people in our community, two deaths in the family, as it were. The eerie thing was, it was like virtually on the same day. The last time I broadcast was Thursday, and I believe that was the 11th. Thursday, the 11th. We had two passings. I believe on the 10th of April, that I was kind of oblivious to at the time, or wasn't oblivious to. I was actually trying to get more background information and make sure it wasn't a hoax. So if you don't know what I'm talking about two, legendary people in our community that has transitioned just recently. Of course, we all know Mr. O.J. Simpson. He just recently passed away. And then before O.J., I think it was just like hours, or like not even 16 hours apart, A little bit before OJ was, legendary, iconic, pioneering DJ, Mr. C. So, we're going to give both of those brothers a moment of silence before diving into the content. And then, spoiler alert, I'll be discussing O.J. Simpson a little bit later on in the content for the platform. All right. May the Creator be pleased with both of you brothers, and the Narrative Podcast is officially extending love, light, and healing energy to the friends, family, and associates of Mr. O.J. Simpson and Mr. C. All right, so diving right on into the platform, or the overview of the platform. Do as I do every single week. I have not been able to do I've been able to do it. It's just like other things have been popping up. So this is my first full broadcast in a while of the Narrative Podcast, but I'm gonna walk you through all the new listeners and people new to my platform, what the Narrative Podcast is all about. So we're gonna start at the top. Tippy, the name, the Narrative Podcast. I named my podcast the Narrative Podcast because I don't like the false narrative that the media weaves about original people and original people culture. I get to the original part momentarily. So what I decided to do to counter that is design a platform where I'm celebrating all our people's accomplishments and creating a space where I'm uplifting and edifying our community by promoting and providing positive self-images about our people and our culture, and just, try to reverse this negative image and negative stereotypes and negative stigmas that the media intentionally places over our people and our culture. So hence the title, The Narrative Podcast. And I think that's a perfect segue for my tagline for the podcast. The Narrative Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative stereotypes about original people and original culture. How do I destroy the negative stereotypes about our people and our culture? By providing positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. And that's entirely what this platform is dedicated to, providing positive frames of reference about original people and original culture here on the Narrative Podcast. Not only to provide the positive frames of reference, the positive self-images about our people and our culture, but also to bring awareness to the listening audience of why it's important and necessary to do that, and encourage all my listeners to do as I do. Utilize responsibly, utilize their platforms, whatever it be, whatever digital space they're occupying, to, share positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. So, that's my mission statement. That's what basically the Narrative Podcast is all about. And I'm going to hit you with a couple more misnomers before diving into the content. So first and foremost, I call my listening audience my narrators. And the purpose behind doing that is because, we're living in the digital information age. And this is the age of where, people can utilize this technology to basically present themselves to the world, to tell or narrate their own stories, like, your status updates, and you can pretty much online be whatever you want to be and present yourself to the world how you want to present yourself to the world. You share information online, your hobbies, your interests, your beliefs, your value systems, all that's correlated, by whatever you're posting online, whatever you're into. And so that's why I call my target listening audience my narrators, because you can utilize your platform, your online platform, to tell or narrate your own story. So your duty as a narrator, or should be as a narrator, telling your own story should be to paint the best possible image of yourself online. Because the media, is incredibly divisive. They twist the narrative about our people and our culture by, propagating stereotypes and stigmatizing our people. And so, they really just try to push degeneracy on us and make us the face of degeneracy. And so a way we can combat that is, telling a more positive story about ourselves. Such as what I do here on my platform, tell stories about, leadership, stories about us triumphing in the face of adversity, having a sense of unity, honor, valor, integrity, a sense of community, taking care of each other, loving each other. If we do have disagreements, the ability to solve our disagreements in a civil manner that doesn't result in, violence or getting unalived. Demonstrating the ability to be able to do that. That's basically what I try to, encourage people to do with their platforms, to narrate our own stories, bring awareness of why that's important. That's why I call my target listening audience my narrators. And then just some more sub points I want to tack on to that is like the media, their primary objective is to make money first and foremost, but the reason why they keep on creating all these negative stereotypes and stigmas about our people and our culture is because the media is ran by, the powers that be, and the powers that be have a horrible, wicked agenda as far as our people is concerned. They have a horrible, wicked agenda as far as our people is concerned. They have a horrible, wicked agenda as far as our people is concerned. They basically, the media is controlled by the powers that be, and they have a horrible, wicked agenda as far as, the way they portray our people. They basically are, the elite society, higher echelon, aka wealthy white people. They want to be the face of sophistication, of progression, of refinement, and they want to perpetuate this image by making everybody else in comparison to them seem low level in intelligence, unsophisticated, unrefined, and uncultured, next to them. They do that to everybody. They do that to, Spanish culture, Asian culture, certain Europeans, basically anybody not in their tax bracket and anybody not quite. So yeah, they want to just create this illusion that, if you don't have 6 figures or better, you're not it. And, they want to have this elite society and, this secret little club. But out of everybody else, they use the media to, showcase, try to distort the images of everybody else to make themselves appear to be sophisticated, refined, and cultured. So, as I said, they do it to everybody, but out of all the people that they do it to our people the most. And the reason why they pick on our people the most is because they fear our people the most. They're aware of their history and they're aware of our history, and they know they couldn't exist without us. They know we started civilization. They know, they know without us it wouldn't be a them. They know it's because of us that they acquired their financial wealth and seized systemic power, or created systemic power, and created all these systems to keep themselves in power. And so, they're threatened by our presence, and they'll use all our resources, to try to keep us at the bottom, because their biggest fear is that we'll, wake up and unite and reclaim everything they took from us, and are taking from us, and do to them what they've done and are currently doing to us. That's their biggest fear, is that we will usurp their power and do to them what they've done to us, which is isolate them and put them at the bottom of the pile. But, it's an ill-gotten fear, because that's just not the nature of who we are as a people. And so that's the only one thing where they got it wrong at, why they're creating all these negative images and weaving these false narratives about our people and our culture. So yeah, that's all that's at play, and all that's before us right now. But even though the media is ran by this horrible, wicked entity, at the core of it is still a business. And the first rule of business is supply and demand. Businesses create products based on, the inherent need for a product. And the product that they've created for our people is degeneracy. And they market it to us, they mass produce it and market it to us and try to make us the face of it, because we keep on consuming it. We keep on regurgitating it online. They want to sell us, pimp culture, whore culture, gangbang culture, drug culture on the dealing end and on the substance abuse end of it. They market alcohol to us, tobacco, alcohol, unhealthy foods, like you name it. Thought culture, F-boy culture. But we can change that simply by just controlling about what we're putting out. We can't control how the rest of the world perceives us as. We can't change a made-up mind. Whatever they perceive us as, and whatever they think, they're just going to think. But we can control, the type of content that we put out as a people. And if we, as a people, start putting out more positive content, us, starting businesses, taking care of business within our community, addressing all these problems that, all these systemic problems that our government creates for us, having the answer to all these problems, then, that slowly catch wind of it and slowly starts, creating product to accommodate that. Because as long as they believe that we want to be represented as, thugs, gangbangers, pimps, whores, they're going to keep on just marketing it and mass producing it and shoveling it onto us. So that's why, basically, why I call my target listening audience my narrators. We got the unique power to tell or narrate our own stories. And, that's really what I'm trying to promote here with my platform, the Narrative Podcast. Next order of business on my platform, I refer to our people as original people. I do this for a couple of reasons. First reason is that it's historically accurate because we were and are the original people of this planet. We was here thousands of years before everybody else. And contrary to our unpopular belief, we didn't evolve from monkeys. We weren't low in intelligence. We didn't have prehistoric weapons and tools. We from the get up, we was highly civilized, highly advanced, highly intelligent. We stood fully erect. We wasn't hunched over. We wasn't covered in excessive body hair. We were master builders. We built cities, structures. We were artisans, philosophers, astrologists, just everything, scientists, mathematicians, we was never uncultured ever. We fostered civilization, we progressed it. We are the reason why everything is the way it is. We're the only people that never got credit for anything. We started everything and didn't get credit for anything, but we was here first, and we created everything. That's why I refer to our people as original people. And another sub point that I want to tack onto that, being original people, we inhabited every single corner of the globe, because a false narrative that they keep on trying to push is that our history began with slavery. Slavery was a part of our culture, it was a part of history. It did happen, but the impact, they really try to just sell that narrative, how it impacted us as a people. How it impacted us as a people, 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 how it impacted Like I said, we was original people, and first and foremost, we inhabited every single corner of the globe you can think of, and we did not get to all these places via slave boats. We was already indigenously located in every single corner of the globe you can think of. So while slavery did in fact happen, it was a moment in history. The extent, the time frame is greatly exaggerated. Our involvement in it is definitely exaggerated. That's their go-to deflection tool that they like using. Or like, well, black people, they enslaved their own people. They participated in the slavery. They sold their slaves, and it's not true. Like, it's not 100% accurate. It was more like, we had prisoners of war and we had indentured servants, So it did end, it wasn't just generations of it. It wasn't us, beating the living daylights out of our own people. It was just like, it was more of a business deal. But they got it in history like we had slaves and we whipped slaves, and come on, man. But that's primarily on the historical side where I refer to our people as original people on my platform. The second reason is because it unifies us as a people, because there are many different types of us all throughout the world. We're scattered all throughout the world. We all speak different languages, all have different flesh tones, religious and spiritual beliefs. But the one common factor that we all have in common is this stuff called melanin, the high concentration of that, which binds us together, which allows us to, wherever we come from, whatever language we speak, whatever, deity we pray to or a spiritual belief we practice, we can all, as a people, trace our lineage back to the original point of origin for all civilization. That's the one thing we have in common as original people. So, that's the two reasons why I refer to our people as original people here on the Narrative Podcast instead of black. You can refer to yourself as black. You can refer to yourself as African American. You can refer to yourself as FBA. You can refer to yourself as, a Negro, whatever you want to call yourself, whatever you're comfortable calling yourself. Go right on ahead. I'm not trying to, sound like I'm super duper smart. I'm just telling you on my platform, I refer to our people as original people. The Narrative Podcast is also a place of, a positive space. I don't engage in gossip, slander. I don't try to join into the degradation of our people. There's been enough damage inflicted on us by people outside of our culture. So, like, this platform is just dedicated to uplifting and edifying our people. And, it's just basically a greater good type space. Trying to get everybody on the same page. Trying to build unity and spread love. I don't like engaging in gossip and slander and, the he say, she say, and all that rigmarole. What I do in this space, however, what I do is what I will do is tell the truth. This is a home of truth too. And if somebody within our community has a polarizing platform, if I feel they're intentionally abusing their platform and misrepresenting our people, I will call out that type of behavior, if it's somebody in our community intentionally representing our people for monetary gain, I will call that out. But other than that, I don't like kick no dirt, gossip and slander and none of that, name call and roast people. That's just not the look I'm going for here with this content. I'm here to, uplift and edify our people, keeping it, try to keep it light and entertain and inform at the same time, and spread awareness. So another thing about the Narrator podcast, this isn't a space of where I'm trying to enlighten or seek validation from people outside of our culture. What this space is dedicated to is, like telling our story the correct way, to the powers that be, to, people rooted in our culture that make money off of us. This is like, if you're going to tell our story, tell it right. Tell it from the perspective of who we are as a people, and who are we as a people. We're kings and queens, gods and goddesses of the universe, and that's the perspective that, the lens always needs to focus and shine on our people. Don't try to try to distort and twist the narrative to fit your agenda. So that's what this entire platform is dedicated to, and about, is just uplifting and edifying and celebrating all our people's accomplishments, and bringing awareness to why we need to, share positive frames of reference on all our platforms, because all people outside of our culture, all they got is negative frames of references. And not just for people outside of our culture, but not just for people outside of our culture, but for us as well, so we can just like get a positive self-image about who we are as a people. Because after a while, after constantly being bombarded with negativity, that negativity kind of takes root in the subconscious, and we accept that as reality on the subconscious level. If they're just constantly showing us down bad, constantly showing us being violent towards one another, constantly showing us living impoverished and, down bad and ignorant and, all the above, like the usual suspects. So, that takes a toll after a while. So, that's the answer to that. This podcast is the answer to those negative self-images that just keep on getting perpetuated about our people. Last thing you should probably know, this is a time-sensitive platform. I try to keep it brief and to the point. And the reason for that is it's an all-audio platform. So I want to keep my listening audience captivated and attentive, and I cannot do that if I'm just, droning on and on and on with no speaking points and just like not connecting any dots. So, I try to keep it brief and to the point as possible. All the information is just like really general, really practical and applicable, and lighthearted but serious at the same time. And that's what I'm trying to shoot for here on this platform. I don't want to shoot over people's heads, but then I also don't want to dumb myself down either. So I want to be just like right there, right in the middle. So if I've glazed over anything, then up out of here for this one. So basically, I try to keep everything short and simple and to the point. I don't try to overcomplicate anything. I want to gauge all levels of intellect without leaving anybody out. I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to shoot over anybody else's head, but then I also don't want to dumb myself down. So I think I covered everything, and if I glazed over anything, I'm pretty sure you'll be more than capable to, catch up with the slack as I dive into this episode of the Narrative Podcast. I have plenty of other episodes that you can listen to if you're still kind of, don't know what my platform is all about. I'm over 300 episodes in. So remember to download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast, wherever you get your podcast information from. All right. So now that you have pretty much a gist of what my platform is all about, I'm going to dive on into the content this evening on the Narrative Podcast with my very first section. This section is called the highlight section. In this section, what I'm doing is I'm highlighting original people owned and operated businesses, or businesses owned and operated by original people. And the reason why I'm highlighting this section is because we don't have too many I'm staying true to my mission statement of the Narrative Podcast, which is to provide positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. And we're kind of lacking in the area of entrepreneurialism. Like many of us like owning our own businesses and doing for self. Unfortunately, many of the frames of reference we have in that realm come to us via scripted reality television shows. And all these scripted reality television shows, unfortunately, we're depicted in a negative light. They show us fighting on air, arguing amongst each other, stabbing each other in the back, indulging in drugs, alcohol, and sex on camera, and all other types of lewd behavior. But through all that dysfunction, all the people usually featured on these scripted reality television shows are brothers and sisters earning 5 to 6 figures or better. Earning 5 or 6 figures or better. But that all that dysfunction negates that factor that they're extremely successful, extremely wealthy individuals, just as the producers of these shows intend. They just want to sell dysfunction. They want to sell toxicity. They want to sell degeneracy to our people. And, they market it through scripted reality television shows. And so that takes away from the whole entrepreneur thing. And that's basically why I'm doing the highlight section, is just to highlight, properly highlight an entrepreneur, because we don't have a lot of proper examples of what an entrepreneur is. So that's what I'm doing in the highlight section. I'm providing a proper example of what an entrepreneur is. I'm walking you through their journey, how they start their business, how they came up with their idea, and all the other nuances that come along with being an entrepreneur. In addition to that, some other qualifying factors that I usually use for the highlight section is I'm just properly walking through an entrepreneur's journey. So in addition to just, telling you how they started their business, how they acquired their assets, telling you a little bit about themselves, I'm also, some other qualifying factors is that the businesses that I highlight in the highlight section, the proprietors of said business, they do some type of community outreach. They give back to the community, such as hiring their own, some type of philanthropy. They either have their own nonprofit organization or they pay into one. Many of the businesses that I highlight in the highlight section are family-owned and operated businesses. So in that instance, what I would be doing for the listening audience is providing a positive frame of reference of generational wealth. And then last but not least, the businesses that I highlight in the highlight section on the Narrator podcast line up with my theme. And my theme was the seasons, but I kind of switched up. What I've been doing as of late is just highlighting businesses that coincide with a national recognized holiday. So I've been doing nationally recognized holidays. And so this week, being that it's I'm going to be commemorating 2 nationally recognized holidays. So I'll be highlighting one business that coincides with one nationally recognized holiday, and another business that coincides with the other nationally recognized holidays. So it is April the 13th, 2024, and the 2 national recognized holidays for this month is National Grits Day, or National Grits Day, and National Pecan Pie Day. So I'll be highlighting 2 separate businesses. One specializes in grits, and the other specializes in pecan pie. So the first business I'll be highlighting in the highlight section of the Narrator podcast highlight section is a business that specializes in pecan pies. And the name of the business is the 27th Street Bakery in South Central Los Angeles, California. And to find out more about it, go to 27thstreetbakery.com. Now, this bakery they sell sweet potato pies as well. They also specialize in sweet potato pies, but pecan pies. So I'm highlighting it because of the pecan pie, because it's National Pecan Pie Day. But, they're also known for their sweet potato pies. They sell other confectionery treats as well. Fruit pies, pound cake. I'm pretty sure went on hand like red velvet, but when I went to the website, I just really saw them really pushing the sweet potato pie and the pecan pie. So now this particular business, this is 3 generations The original owner of the business was a man by the name of Harry Patterson, along with his wife. It was established in the 1930s, and it was originally a restaurant, a full restaurant. They served food as well, but they wanted to focus on something that they were good at. I mean, like, they were good at serving food, but they wanted to streamline their menu and just focus on their most requested items. And of course, their most requested items obviously was the desserts. So like the sweet potato pie and the pecan pie was their most requested menu item. And so after the 1930s, they converted it into just that, a bakery. In the 1950s, so Harry Patterson ran it all the way up into the early 80s, and I'm assuming he passed away. The second generation was his daughter and her son. His daughter, Alberta, Craven, and Gregory Spann. They ran it in the 80s. And so the current owner is the third generation owner, and you might recognize her because she is an Olympic gold medalist. Alberta's daughter, Janet Baldwin Pickens. She's a former gold medalist. She in the 1984 Olympics and the track and field events, and then she later on went on to coach at UCLA. So when it was her turn to take over, she got sponsored by a special program that helps small area businesses within that area of Los Angeles grow. She pitched her idea to that program, and then later on got a phone call from the president of the Stapleton Center, and she started selling the baked goods at the Stapleton Center, and then all that business from the Stapleton Center carried on into their prime location that they're located now in, which is on the 2700 block in South Central Los Angeles. The telephone number is 323-233-3464. Or you can email inquiries email them directly at inquiries@27thstreetbakery.com. Everything is organic, no GMO. What sets them apart from their competition is that, in that field, is that they have their own family recipe of vanilla extract. They got like a special vanilla extract recipe that's a family secret, and that sets them apart from everybody else. They also do everything by hand, in-house. There's nothing, they don't use any pre-made anything, no pre-made crust. Everything is done by hand, fresh. They start production at like 2 and 3 in the morning. They're open, their hours of operation is from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Tuesdays through Saturdays. They're closed Sunday and Monday. So if you live in South Central Los Angeles, head on over to 27thstreetbakery.com or 27th Street Bakery, and then go and get you some of that sweet potato pie and pecan pie and see what it's hitting on. But if you don't live in California, you can go online and order as well. And like I said, they don't just have only pecan pie and the sweet potato pie. They got like fruit pies, apple and strawberry, blueberry. They got on the website apple pie empanadas. So, Los Angeles is Spanish culture too. So, they got a diverse menu to accommodate. And it's a third generation business that's been there for over 50 years. So, check them out. It's a staple in Los Angeles. Do yourself a huge favor. Head on over to 27th Street Bakery. And please join me in a Warm Narrative podcast. Round of applause for the third generation owner, former Olympian, 1984 gold medalist, Mrs. Janet Bolden Pickens. All right, now for the grits. Now this one is super duper short. I didn't find a whole lot of information on this particular brand, but this is like I said, there's not a whole lot of information on the grit company, the owner anyway, but the name of the company is called Southern Queen Grits. You can find out more about the brand at southernqueengritsfoods.com. I couldn't find any information about what year the business was established, but the owner's name is a brother by the name of Kirk Wardy. Kirk grew up in the South, South Carolina to be specific. So if anybody knows anything about the Carolinas, the Gullah Geechee culture, that's kind of where, grits, how it spread throughout the South. It's a staple in the Carolina cuisine. They have their shrimp and grits. Grits is very versatile, and it's just basically gritted corn, just like, finely ground corn. It comes in yellow or white. It could be grits are very versatile. It can be a side or it can be a main. You can have them sweet or savory, and that's the debate within our community. Is team sweet and team savory. And I don't partake in grits anymore now that I'm on my journey. Haven't been for years, but when I was consuming grits, I was team savory. And the way I like to enjoy my grits was like seasoned to perfection, seasoned all the way through, nice and creamy, very buttery, have an over easy egg, and some either highly buttered Texas toast, some toasted butter toast, and with Texas style buttered toast, or just some regular, white bread toasted but super buttery. And that's how I like to enjoy my grits. I didn't really do, shrimp and grits. I thought, that to me that was kind of overrated. And I think I just slightly, just because I got a little kind of like some OCD, I don't really like my food touching. So if I ever got shrimp and grits, I wouldn't have the shrimp inside the grits. I would have to scoop my shrimp out and eat it separately. I didn't like nothing mixed in with my grits. Except for cheese, because cheese melts all the way through it. So cheese is cool. Cheese was cool. But yeah. I just wanted to give you a little background. I was Team Savory. Yeah, and that's so weird that I picked grits because, on my platform I refer to us as original people, and kind of one of the original indigenous tribes of, this land that we're sitting on called America was the Mississippi Indians, and they was all throughout the Carolinas. But anyway, I digress. So Kirk Wardy developed a fondness for grits. He said he did not like them, enjoy them when he was a child. His mother and his grandmother grew up in South Carolina. They was born and raised in South Carolina. He said he lived there to age 5 and then moved to New York City and grew up in New York City. He said he didn't really, acquire a taste for grits until he was a full-grown adult. And at some point in time, I'm guessing he decided to just start his own grit company. They also have a page on Instagram, and I believe it's called the products also featured on Instagram on a page called the LaRue Group. So go to Instagram and follow the LaRue Group to see Southern Queen grits. Yeah, so the LaRue Group on Instagram, and their telephone number is 919-559-7079. And they're located in Effingham, South Carolina, 29541. So join me into giving our brother, Mr. Cork Wardy, a Warm Narrative Podcast round of applause for his brand of grits, Southern Queen grits. So now I just got to do this little sidebar. I'm not trying to tell nobody how to live their lives, but, just grits within our culture is made with corn. Corn has no nutritional value. It's essentially just starch, which turns into sugar in the body. So you want to try to stay away from corn as much as possible. Me, myself, personally, I'm trying to wean myself off of popcorn. That's my little guilty pleasure. But, yeah, corn is no bueno. It's not really good for you. All right. Next section of the Narrator Podcast is called the Spotlight section. In this section, what we do is I spotlight prominent figures within our community, making a difference to uplift and impact our community in a positive way. So the people that I usually spotlight when I first started doing this section were celebrities, and I would spotlight, actors, actresses, comedians, athletes, recording artists, YouTubers, TikTokers, just people with a polarizing figure. Like I said, responsibly utilizing their platforms to uplift, impact, and empower our people in our community through whatever deeds that they're doing, whether it's some type of philanthropy, whether it's like some type of nonprofit organization that they're of theirs or that they pay into, or using their platform to speak on our issues candidly and unapologetically, or maybe inspiring the youth, doing something for incarcerated people, or or elderly, or just something positive. But as of late, I've decided to kind of take it down a notch, spotlighting celebrities and focus on just regular people, because I don't want to play into the negative stereotype of all we know how to do is entertain. And then, not for nothing, your brother Halsey Allen on the Narrative podcast created the wave for spotlighting. Because before I started spotlighting, nobody was spotlighting anybody. So now every time you go on somebody's YouTube channel or a television show, today we'll be spotlighting this, that, and the third, like nobody was really doing that before me. The internet makes the world small, so I'm glad that I'm making an impact in the world, because I know a whole lot of people listen to my platform just based on I notice things. I'm a very observant person. I notice a whole lot of people, talking the way I talk, using my nuances that I use on here. So, that's kind of like saying something without really saying it, like they're messing with the platform. I don't know why. I ain't looking for validation or somebody to shout me out, but it's evident that I'm making waves, and the best form of flattery is imitation. So many people spotlighting, and the whole purpose of me spotlighting was basically to create the healthy habit of speaking, using your platform to speak positively over your brother and your sister, instead of using your platform to kick dirt on a brother or sister's name, gossip, spread rumors and lies, because basically the powers that be have incentivized it, brothers and sisters, to use their platforms to speak negatively about other brothers and sisters on their platforms online. And I have fallen into the trap of myself of regurgitating this false narrative. We're the only people that do it. I've recently tried to break myself of saying it, but within our community we do it a lot. Argue back and forth, and just going back and forth in the comment sections, and just taking pop shots at each other online. Like it's a formulated plot for us to basically use this social media to destroy each other instead of lift each other up and build each other up and congratulate each other. So, I'm glad that I can inspire other people to do the same. So, I start the wave of spotlighting.
You are now listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
In a real way. So, yeah. I pretty much created like spotlighting, and like I'm glad so many people are doing it now, because it's a refreshing change of logging in whatever that you're active on, Facebook, the gram, or whatever. It's just always saying something negative about another brother or sister, so we can we can get money being positive. You don't have to they got us brainwashed and conditioned to believe to manipulate the algorithm to get the CPMs and the clicks and all that. You got to just be negative. You got to say negative stuff to get traction on a project, or, to make money online. You got to, be with the foolishness and the nonsense. And, showing and displaying that you don't have to, by spotlighting and toasting each other and celebrating our triumphs and successes instead of kicking dirt on each other's name. But anyway, so now that you know what the spotlight section is all about, we're going to dive right on into this week's spotlight section here on the Narrative Podcast. And the person occupying the spotlight on the Narrative Podcast this week is a sister by the name of Sierra Taylor. Sierra is the founding member of Dream Defenders. Sierra grew up in the suburbs of Florida and attended Florida A&M College in Tallahassee, Florida. She served as both director and political consciousness at the Florida chapter of Dream Defenders. In 2000, she protested the United States presidential election between Gore and Bush after Bush became president. In July 2013, Dream Defenders occupied the Florida State Capitol building for 31 days as a form of peaceful protest for Trayvon Martin. They wanted lawmakers in that area to get with them to discuss the stand your ground laws in that state. And then later on, a member of the organization was arrested while preparing to help provide C-19 testing for the homeless. So, that's about the Dream Defenders. But our sister been doing the work for a very long time. If you want to know more about Dream Defenders, go to dreamdefenders.org and you can read their mission statement. They got a section where you can donate. So donate if you're able to donate your money, your time, or something. And join me in giving our sister Sierra Taylor a warm Narrative Podcast round of applause. So, Next section here on the Narrator podcast is the health and wellness section, and it's very self-explanatory. It is just what it sounds like. Health and wellness. I'm giving health and wellness tips to, help my people, original people, have a more productive, active, healthy, fit life. And the reason why I'm doing that is because my people, original people, we are directly under attack. We're being attacked mentally, physically, and spiritually. And so in this section, what I'm doing is I'm giving tips to armor up in all three areas that we're being attacked. I don't do, financial tips, because being broke is a form of an illness, but, more about that later. But because I believe health is wealth, so that's why I don't really talk about finances, but I just kind of tend to dwell on the areas that my people are being attacked, which is mentally, physically, and spiritually. A quick little disclaimer for the health and wellness section. Narrative podcast. Anybody is free to listen to my content. Anybody is free to participate in anything I want you to participate in here on this platform. But know this and know this well, all the content here on my platform, the Narrative Podcast, is aimed directly at my people. That's my target demographic, original people. That's what my platform is dedicated to, is the upliftment of original people. Especially here in this section, the health and wellness section. And why especially in this section? Because we are all different. We all have a unique physiology. We all have, a unique, different genetic makeup. And we're all different. Especially our people. Like, what works for you will not work for us. Like, we can't survive on your diet. We can't survive praying to your God or practicing your spiritual practices. We all have different, emotional triggers. So things mentally trigger our people differently than your people. And by your people, I mean everybody outside of original people. So we're all different, so don't come to me with that, we're all the same, and, we're all creatures of God, and, we're not. We all perceive everything differently, including the Creator, and the Creator made us different, so that would be a fallacy to say we're all the same. We're not all the same. We all have different dietetic needs. We all have different spiritual needs. We all have different mental needs, and that's what I'm focusing on, is the mental, spiritual, and physical needs of my people here in this section, the health and wellness section on the Narrative Podcast. So, having said that, I'll give you some examples of the type of tips. So for the physical tip, how to stay physically fit, active, and healthy, I usually give you the health benefits of a vegetable, fruit, plant, herb, elixir, or roots that you can ingest or apply topically to sustain your physical well-being. On the mental side of it, some type of mental exercise you can do to, help keep the faculties of your mind running smooth, because we all have different mental, triggers, you know what I mean? So basically how to keep a peace of mind, keep a strong, mental disposition for my people. mental exercises and awareness tips, and then as well as emotional, tips, mindfulness and all that, on the mental side of it. And then on the spiritual side of it, of course, like, spirituality, breathing, meditating, other spiritual practice, burning candles, burning incense, divine focus, divine clarity. And then everything, once in a blue moon, I throw in a curveball, such as like, every once in a blue moon, I throw a curveball in, such as like divine law, quantum law, law of, gratitude, esoteric type stuff, attraction, frequency, energy, and all that good jazz stuff like that. Every once in a blue moon, I'll talk about stuff like that. But this week is a physical attribute. This week I'll be talking about the benefits of bitters. So bitters are essentially just an herb, not to be confused with the bitters that they use in alcoholic drinks, because that's not the same bitters. Digestive bitters are essentially like herbs, and they taste really nasty. So hence the name bitters, because your face will scrunch up when you taste some of this stuff. But it's gory, it's nasty. But what bitters helps do, it helps, your lymphatic system. It helps get rid of bile, like caked up bile on the wall of your stomach. And like one of the most important things bitters do is they kill parasites, because a lot of times a lot of health problems are caused by parasites. So if you find yourself can't lose weight, having food cravings all the time, like all you do is think about food, and the types of foods you want is like carbohydrates, like pasta, potato chips, like anything starchy, anything crunchy, anything salty, like all the time, you most likely have parasites, and you need to purge your parasites. And bitters will help do that, will help expel parasites out of your body. They just they kill them on contact. They just eat all the they basically just starve the parasite out. Whatever the parasite is feeding on in your body, what the bitters will do is just kind of absorb that. And then so the parasites won't have anything to feed on, and that have to come out of your body. So, that's the key function of bitters, is they remove parasites. And that's this week's health and wellness tip here on the Narrator Podcast. My next section here on the Narrator Podcast is my speaking point of the day. And in this section, what I'm doing is I'm talking about current events, and it could range from a wide array of topics, such as what's happening globally, what's happening nationally, or something that's happening specifically within our neighborhood. And the purpose of me doing that is basically, unpacking whatever's going on in the world through our eyes. Because, as the old saying goes, if you don't tell your own story, your story will be told for you. And that essentially is the purpose of me doing the current events, just telling what's ever going on in the world through our eyes, through our people's eyes, what that means to us. Because the media will try to warp it and spin it and have us looking and sounding all kinds of crazy. So now that you know what the speaking point is about, I just want to briefly touch on a few things. Last week, if you joined me on Thursday, I was talking about the Netflix Good Times animated reboot of Good Times. So a couple things I forgot that I had in notes and I just didn't get to it. So a guy named Eric Monty essentially created the created the Good Times, but he also created the Jeffersons. He also created What's Happening. But he was basically, Hollywood story. It got stolen away from him by TV producer Norman Lear. And it's not really outside the realm of possibility, because that's what happens in Hollywood. Happens to everybody. Everybody gets, their idea snaked. You move out to California young and hopeful. Start writing scripts. You either want to be on television or in the movies. That's why all writers go to California to so-called make it big, but nobody breaks the business side of it down to you. And what usually ends up happening is, like, young writers get their ideas stolen and they don't get a dime for it. And that's what happened to our brother Eric Monty. So now Norman Lear, he's been dead for a little bit over a year now, or I think he passed away this year, didn't he? I don't think Norman's been dead for like over a year, but so he's in having legal proceedings trying to move forward with who's ever running the Lear estate. So he's trying to still get his just dues. That's all I wanted to touch on. That's all I forgot in the notes. Another thing happening in the news, California is on the verge of self-destruction. Like, there's so many people. There's like a huge exodus from California. People are leaving the state. Like, the migrants are basically taking over. The cost of living is going way up. There's basically virtually like no opportunity. And a lot of that is because, our government is cutting back so many programs that's helping our people. And now they're just, trying to basically replace us, original people, with the migrants. But California is the first state to really be really impacted from that to the point it's unlivable. The school district is going way down. Businesses, they're not giving out no help for small business owners anymore. They cut that. So, the government, they did away with also with the jobs. They did away with affirmative action. And that's, a lot of us, how we was getting good jobs was because of affirmative action. So there's no more basically complaining to the EEOC about inequality is virtually useless now. You're not going to win that now because, number one, we was never the minority anyway, but now they're just really, trying to push that we're not and focusing on other people. So, we're all on our own again. You know what I mean? They're taking away all the programs that helped us. So with this, administration, we don't have any lifelines anywhere, especially in the state of California. It's going to crap. And people are leaving out of there quick, fast, in a hurry. Like, it's just like a huge exodus. People are leaving from California, going to Texas, going to Atlanta, but getting the hell out of there. And, I don't blame them. It's basically like they're selling it. They're selling California, basically. They don't care about anything. Like all the historical staples in California that's black owned, like they're, going by the wayside. Yeah. Cali is it's a sinking ship, basically. And it's going to be the first of many. It's going to be, that's where it's starting. It's going to eventually go to New York, and then probably Chicago, another major city, and then, and then the only thing left is going to be, southern states, are going to get overcrowded with us. Because people are going to be trying to go to Texas. People are going to be trying to go to, Atlanta, to the Carolinas, north and south. Probably like Tennessee too. But, those states can't house everybody. Now, people might start migrating to up north to like places like Oregon, DMV, but they're definitely getting the hell out of California. So my last topic I want to touch on for my speaking point of the day is the life and legacy of our brother O.J. Simpson. It's really sad and unfortunate that brother went. Dynamic entertainer. And at this point, all we can really is whatever you may think about whatever happened to Anna Nicole Smith, where you think you did it, where you think you didn't do it, is definitely irrelevant now. But what's kind of bad is how many Caucasian people have such visceral for O.J. Simpson, no compassion whatsoever. They're actually celebrating online, popping champagne that he's gone. It's like a big celebration that, he's not here anymore. No compassion, no empathy, no nothing. So no compassion, no empathy, no nothing. They're just really just cheering and jovial and happy, so glad he's gone. They want him to suffer every single day that he was above ground. That was the worst crime ever. He got away with unaliving a white woman, allegedly, because it was never proven. He standing trial. Whatever you believe, it's guilty. It's guilty till proven innocent. He proved his innocence. So, all that's irrelevant. I didn't agree with everything O.J. Simpson did, but you have to give him credit as an entertainer. You have to give him credit as a football player. He was he was an excellent football player, and he was, a top-notch entertainer. He wasn't here for activism of any kind, and I gotta respect that, Because, you know, the only thing worse than you know, somebody that's not with the movement is somebody to pretend to be with the movement, but actually their heart's not in it and they don't care. So people like O.J. Simpson, I respect. People like Charles Barkley, I respect, because they said they're not there for all that. They're just there to be in that space. They're there to be an entertainer. They're not there to provide opportunity for, you know, other brothers and sisters, and for, you know, what it's worth. That's what O.J. Simpson was here for. He was here to be an entertainer. That's what he was. He was a really good actor. You know, a lot of athletes can't act at all. They can't act their way out of a paper bag. But OJ, he was a really good actor. So, you know, if you don't like him, you gotta respect his hustle. Now, my only criticism I would give is, like, as a grown man, a very intelligent man, he knew who he owed his freedom to, and he never made any reference to the honorable minister, or never, like, we had a second Million Man March. The first one was epic, and it was really because of the first Million Man March that he really even got a shot at freedom, because it was just right after, you know, the LA riots. And say what you want to say, them white people saw the multitude. They saw the minister put out the call, and everybody in the nation responded. They was like, you know, there was so many buses. There was like, people couldn't even get off the bus. There was so many people. It was well over 1 million. They try to say it was only 100,000, but it was well over 1 million. The Million Man March. They was shaking in their boots to see all of us standing together, united in solidarity, no egos, nobody tripping, united on, you know, for one cause, which is to reclaim our neighborhoods back, reclaim our homes back, and atone. The first one, I think, was atonement, to atone for killing unaliving our brothers and sisters, and reclaim our neighborhoods back. That was the whole theme of it. And OJ's presence there would have, you know, tipped the scales immensely. Not just for himself, but for, like, everybody in America. But for some odd reason, whoever was handling him advised him not to come, and he listened to the person that told him not to come to the Million Man March. He should have come to the Million Man March, and he definitely should have, you know, at some point of his career, openly acknowledged the minister for going up to bat with him, because he was the first person in our community to defend him when he was going through what he was going through. Like, everybody turned his back on him. Everybody, like a whole bunch of leaders in our community, turned their back on him. Everybody pretty much turned their back on him. It was like, yeah, that's what he get, messing with that white girl anyway, F that dude. And he had the opportunity to make that right, and he didn't make that right. And that's the only thing, you know, that left a sour taste in my mouth about OJ. But other than that, you know, impeccable athlete, top-notch entertainer. Like I said, like, love him or hate him, you have to respect him. And he doesn't deserve all the backlash that he's getting from the white community, because, you know, y'all been killing us and getting away with it for ever since America was conceived. Ever since America was conceived, y'all been unaliving us and getting away with it, no consequences. It's funny to me, like, you know, we can do anything to each other. We can call each other out of our names. We can call each other niggas, bitches, and hoes all day, every day. We can, commit random acts of violence against each other. We can steal from each other. We can unalive each other, and nobody cares. But the second we commit any sort of aggression, any crimes, unalive anybody outside of our community, we have to be made an example of. We can't just get the regular standard time for that particular crime. They want to put us underneath the jailhouse. And they're mad because they couldn't do that to OJ. They couldn't put him underneath the jailhouse. What they did do is try to humiliate him the whole time he was alive. They sent him to jail a second time for going to get his own items. Like somebody broke in his house, stole his memorabilia. He went to the house to go get it back. And so that was really them still trying to punish him for Anna Nicole Smith. Nobody deserves to be unalive. Nobody will never know why she's not here anymore. But to disgrace his legacy by celebrating his untimely demise, it's just tacky beyond tacky. Y'all need to really be ashamed. They need to really be ashamed of that. They're acting like some real filthy beast right now. That's it for the speaking point of the day. And wrapping it up here on the Narrative Podcast is my final word of the day. My final word of the day is something insightful, philosophical, deep, meaningful, whatever you want to call it, a gem, a pearl of gem, a nugget, pearl of wisdom, whatever you want to call it. Something that inspire you to think critically, or something that will resonate with you mentally. And so today's final word of the day is don't second guess yourself. Your first mind is usually your best mind. That little gnawing feeling in the back of you, that's your higher self telling you need to do something, and you need to listen to that feeling. And often we'll just kind of disregard it and then, beat ourselves up later and be like, dang, I shouldn't have second guessed myself. I should have just went with my first mind. And that's exactly what you should always do. Go with your first mind, because that's, that's intuition. That's letting you know about people, situations, what to do. That's divine intervention. That's straight from the ancestors, straight from God, whatever you call yourself believing in. This is that little gnawing feeling like, no, I don't need to be around these people. I don't need to be over here. I don't need to take this course of action. But we second guess it, and we do it anyway, and then wind up being regretful. And there are so many of our young brothers and sisters occupying the grave right now because they didn't listen to that little voice in the back of the head that tell them not to, go to that party with these people, get in the car with these people, leave this little argument alone. I don't have to escalate it any further, because it's really not about nothing. I'm going to just walk away. They didn't walk away. The little voice was telling them just, leave that alone, walk away. But they didn't do it. And then also the little voice that tells us when it's time to make a move for ourselves. Because there's a whole lot of entrepreneurs in our community with billion-dollar ideas, but they're too scared to take the first step. They're worried about things, worrying about failing, worrying about people laughing at them. They're worried about the wrong things. They got, the answer to solve, you know, they got the solution to solve everybody's problems, but they scared to take that first step because they want to second guess themselves. So, you know, final word of the day, don't second guess yourself. You know, make your next move your best move. Follow your heart, follow your intuition. Yeah. Don't second guess yourself. That's the final word of the day here on the Narrative Podcast. Technically, this is Sunday. I'll be sharing it back Sunday, but this was a Saturday edition. I just start broadcasting super late. You know, I had other obligations, but this is the Saturday edition of the Narrative Podcast. And join me next weekend for another full edition of the Narrative Podcast. I have it together a little bit better. I'm upload it earlier. But yeah, I started broadcasting super late. So it's a little bit after midnight now, but for all intents and purposes, this was the Saturday edition of the Narrative Podcast. I have two editions. I have a weekday edition and I have a weekend edition. And the weekend edition is usually on Saturdays. My weekday edition, whatever day that I have free and available. I'm going to start, you know, I'm going to try something different because I usually only try to do one upload during the day. I'm going to start trying to just, you know, do uploads every time I get some free time during the week and just see what it do. Just try something different. But for all intents and purposes, most definitely one time during the weekday and once every weekend. So tune in to wherever you get your podcast information from, to the Narrative Podcast during the weekday and during the weekend, to always stay updated with my most current episode of the Narrative Podcast. Follow me on YouTube. My viewer channel is Halsey Allen on YouTube. And you want to subscribe to my page, click the notifications, click notification all. Also, follow me on X, formerly Twitter, because the platform I'm operating on broadcasts directly to Twitter and X. Like right after I'm done uploading the episode, it goes automatically to X and YouTube. So you follow me on any of those two mediums and you will always be updated with the latest episode of the Narrative Podcast. Next order of business, I've written a book of poetry titled The Black Card. It's available on poetizer.com. Poetizer.com has a virtual online library. Well, poetizer.com is it's a community for poets and writers, and they basically just blog all their work. But then they also have a feature where they can select their best work and make it into a book, and that's precisely what I did. I got 30 good poems that I think are really cool, and I turned it into a book. It's called The Black Card. And what the poems are about is basically an all-comprehensive look at us as a people. Just basically capturing all, it's basically a snapshot, capturing all our nuances within our culture and about us as a people. It's basically like a, I would say like a survival guide, like a how-to book, you know, how to be an original person or how to be black, things we go through, things we experience, positive and negative. You're guaranteed to relate to the book. It's guaranteed to resonate with you. So do yourself a tremendous favor. Go to poetizer.com and purchase my book, Black Card, written by me, Halsey Allen. Purchase your copy of the Black Card today or get your Black Card revoked. It'll make a great gift, coffee table read, or travel book. But whatever you do with it, just go make sure you get yourself a copy on poetizer.com. I also have a poetry blog called hallziespoetrycorner on blogger.com, powered by Adam. And what that is a collection of my poetry. It's poetry that I spontaneously write in the moment. The poems are so detailed and elaborate, you would swear that I wrote them before posting them on my blog, but that's just contrary. I write all of them in the moment. I don't, contemplate on the title. I don't contemplate on the subject matter. The poems just like literally legit come to me. The cool thing about it, when you go to the website, you're guaranteed to read a poem that you can connect with and identify with, and which is a perfect segue for my tagline, Hallzies Poetry Corner, poetry with a passion, poetry for all occasions. So, there's a poem for like literally every single mood you're in, whatever you're going through in life. You can definitely find something that you can relate to on Hallzies Poetry Corner. And the way you can support that is by going to the link on Hallzies Poetry Corner, www.mrhallziesblogs.com, on blogger.com, and you can share the link to Hallzies Poetry Corner or a poem featured on Hallzies Poetry Corner across all platforms, like whatever you're active on, like Facebook, Twitter, X, Pinterest, whatever you're active on. Just make sure you share the link to Hallzies Poetry Corner or a poem featured on Hallzies Poetry Corner on all platforms. Now, if you got a visual platform such as like YouTube or TikTok, you might want to shout out Hallzies Poetry Corner on YouTube, TikTok, or Facebook, and just be like, go check out Hallzies Poetry Corner, or I like this poem titled whatever on Hallzies Poetry Corner. But other than that, just support that platform. Funnel all the proceeds back to this platform and keep on making the Narrative Podcast experience better and better and better. Each broadcast more professional. So the platform is growing. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for all supporting me for all this time. Thanks to all my listeners, my narrators. Appreciate all of you. So join me next weekend for another full episode of the Narrative Podcast, and this week as well. Wherever you get your podcast information from, just remember to download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast. You can also comment on them on the link, the Narrative Podcast. There's an actual comment section. You can leave me a little comment in the comment section. You can also click the like button, which is a little heart. So click that little heart. But the biggest thing that helps me is downloading the episode. So it should be like when you click on the link, a little arrow pointing down. Click on that. And but definitely just keep on supporting the Narrative Podcast. That's it, and that's all. Thank you all so much for your support, family. So like I said, remember to join me this weekend for another full edition of the Narrative Podcast. I'm Halsey Allen, and I'm changing the narrative one episode at a time. I'm asking you to help me, to aid me in my mission to change the narrative by becoming a narrator. And while I'm changing the narrative one episode at a time, as a narrator, you can help me change the narrative by simply changing the narrative one social media post at a time. Until next time, Halsey Allen, the Narrative Podcast, signing off. And it's like that.
Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.